Alrighty, we're live, and this is Beer with Pete, and it's been a long time coming. I'm just gonna adjust the camera really quickly. Just bear with me. There we go. It was on a bit of a slant, just wanted that. Anyway, I've got beers tonight, actually, from the S&R in Angeles City. We went there the other week. Very expensive, actually, the S&R. It's not cheap. And ever since the pandemic hit, it hit us hard. And actually, I find all the supermarket, all the goods around here, Subic Bay, Angeles, everything, all the food, the groceries are going up. And I'm hearing the same thing in Metro Manila. But anyway, we went shopping to the grocery there. S&R is the shop. And yeah, it's a good shop, and you can buy a lot of Western items, a lot of, imported goods and this sort of things. But mate, I spent about 15,000 peso. I'm not joking, eh? But look, without further ado, let me just crack this. I'm here all day. It's been a long day. Happy Friday, everyone. Cheers. I've got a Chang. Oh, it's been a long day. I started work about 5:30 this morning, which is actually not that early for me, to be honest. It's pretty good, to be honest. And had a good day, pretty busy day, but I'm tired. I had a nap after work. Well, I'm not tired now. I'm feeling better now, and I'm feeling refreshed. Feeling like $1,000,000 after just having that one sip of the Chang beer. So the Chang beer is bloody good. Neighbor's dog's going crazy over there. Hey, buddy. I think he thinks someone robbed the place. Mate, we're in the Philippines. We're in the Philippines tonight, enjoying a Thai beer, a Chang beer. So yeah, I was saying, with the pandemic, yeah, mate, the prices of bloody everything here in the Philippines have gone up. You would have thought that, prices would soften and things would actually come down. And that's true for some things like property or real estate, but it's not true for other things like grocery shopping has been, crazy. Now I'm doing and I'll bring the camera just a tad closer to me. Hold on. Now I've been long overdue, actually. It's been long overdue to do the Beer with Pete, so I'm glad. Let me get nice and close and snug. Oh, someone's got a few Strongbow ciders they're knocking back. Malos, how you going, mate? And Tony, hey, buddy. Yeah, pork's gone up a fair bit. Actually, it was hilarious. I was on Facebook the other day, and actually, oh my God, the baby's screaming in the background. I can hear him. He's going nuts. So I was on Facebook the other day, and there was this list, and the list was saying, the different meats, the different food, and what things should cost. So what the government is saying should be the SRP or the RRP, the retail price. And it was ridiculous. Actually, it was like, potatoes should be 50 peso a kilo, and they should be. But if you go down to the shop, even down here, the Royal, which used to be good, the Royal supermarket, used to be great. Mate, the price was like, when I last checked for a kilo, it was like 300 peso or something. Just whack. It was totally whack. And I shook my head because actually I've done videos in the past going down to the Pure Gold here, going down to like the duty-free shops in Subic Freeport, and I'm just so shocked at the prices because I used to get, and you'll probably seen my old Beer with Pete videos, I used to get like a different imported beer. You get a buy one, get one beer special, 30% off, 40% off. Gone, no more. I've been into the supermarket a few times and there is no deals. There is no discounts. There is nothing, dude. Absolutely nothing. And I scratched my head going, what is going on with the Philippines? Like, prices are insane. I watched another video of a vlogger in Metro Manila. They were saying the same thing. They're saying prices are rising. In the bars, I can say the same thing. Unfortunately, prices are rising there too. It's just, the Asian dream. They're killing it. They're killing the Asian dream. Stop. You know, these big brands need to soften their prices, you know, these big supermarkets. Anyway, that's my rant. Bit of a rant. So talking about Manila and this vlogger in Manila, actually I went to Manila last week because I finally got my car, because actually there was a live stream on our other channel, I think it was Cussa James channel, and during the live stream you heard a big bang, and this is probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I think it was back in November last year, so it's about 4 months ago. 4 months ago, and heard this huge crash, and that was the sound of another car smashing the whole side of my brand new 2000, my 18 WRX Subaru. And that was horrible. That was a horrible experience. Actually, the insurance and the whole process to get paid out was terrible. Actually, the individual that did that, she was very tired. She had a long day of work, and she was great. She was really nice, and we worked it out between us. But the insurer, and dealing with the insurance company, it's not like back in Australia, like, okay, you're covered, you got comprehensive insurance, you spend $1,500, $200, $2,000 a year on insurance, and then they just pay out. Okay, they just pay out. Okay, it's not like that. It was a long process. Like, dude, Subaru to fix it quoted me 260,000 peso to fix the car, and the insurer's like, oh yeah, we'll pay for 90,000. I'm like, how does that even work, mate? How does it even work? Because, mate, in Australia, whatever, like, if you bring a quote from a big dealership or a big brand, they just cover it. If you say it's 260,000 peso, or in Australia it could be 6,000 Australian dollars, boom, the insurer, within a couple of days will say, yep, that's good, go and fix the car, and you take the car and you get it fixed up. Need some of this bevy. But anyway, talking about Metro Manila, got to stay on point. Talking about Metro Manila, actually it is eerie. It is spooky is probably the best word for it. It's bloody spooky place, that Metro Manila. It used to be a great place to live, actually. Apart from the traffic, it's exciting. It was like New York, a city that never sleeps. But I can tell you, actually, the only thing I wanted to do in Manila is find the road out. Leave. And it's bad. It's real bad. It's like everyone's wearing a mask and a face shield, and it's like, it's spooky, dude. And like, people aren't really going out. The malls are like, there's not that many people. And what I didn't like is, finally you'd get to an area, right? You'd get to an area whereby, it wasn't that busy, and people, some people are just rude, and some people don't even wear masks. Most do. But some people would just walk up to you and kind of like push you, like, invade your space. And I was like, that's not cool, dude. Like, what are you trying to get people sick? Like, stop, man. Oh my God. But yeah, Metro Manila was a bit spooky. I got a really bad vibe from the place, and all I wanted to do was get the hell out of there. One good thing about Metro Manila that I don't get here in Subic Freeport, delivery service. You have Grab delivery, and literally I can pick up my phone, and I'm actually going to pick up this phone here because I want to see some of the comments, and I'll stop in a bit to do that. So let me just turn down the volume there. So you grab your phone like this and you hit grab, and you can order whatever you want. And I ordered, because I've been craving for over a year, Taco Bell. Oh man, it was good, dude. It was really good. So I think it was Valentine's Day, and we ordered Taco Bell. We had like burritos, we had tacos, we had like these little cinnamon scroll biscuit things, and what was the other thing? It was a, forget the name of, I always forget the name of this thing, but it's kind of like, looks like a pizza. It's like a circle, and it's cut into like little triangles, and got lots of cheese, and it was really tasty. Actually, the Taco Bell is awesome. I love it. I love it. So that was the one good thing. And look, with the boy, if you know, you're under 16 and over 65, you can't actually leave the house. So we can't take our child out. We couldn't go to the restaurants, we couldn't go to the mall. You know, that made sense. So, you know, during the pandemic, and you could see, because I sat down at the lobby for 20 minutes and you could see like every 2 or 3 minutes there was another delivery guy coming to the lobby and delivering food for someone. So we are in this virtual realm, you know, whereby everyone uses this app to get the food delivered or whatever. You know, that's what people are doing in Metro Manila. Actually, another thing happened to me, a really bad experience in Metro Manila. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. And I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but I will, because I think it needs to be said. Because corruption in Manila especially is still rife. It is rife. I tell you right now, corruption is awful in Metro Manila versus Subic Bay. Like, I don't get any issues here whatsoever. Whereas in Metro Manila, I've had so many issues, like I couldn't even count. And literally I was in Manila for less than an hour and a half. I drove all the way down from Subic, and there was a area where I was driving where I had to merge. Okay, I had to merge. And actually it was broken lines. It was still broken lines, and I merged before a barrier in broken lines. But it's my word against the, you know, police officer, and I don't think he was PMP. I think it was an MMDA officer, like a traffic enforcer. And this guy was the rudest person I've ever met. I tried to explain to him that actually I was still in broken lines, so me merging into the other lane was fine, and that was not a non-issue. And actually one of my friends was in the back, my friend's wife, and she's like, I think in her late 60s, and he said, "I will not talk to you, foreigner. I will not talk to you." And he obviously wanted pera, he wanted money. And he literally went to the back and harassed her. This is in Ortigas, by the way, and honestly, I'm disgusted because I worked and lived in Ortigas for many, many years. I'm not going to say which corner it was on, but I'm going to say it was in Pasig City, and he just hounded her and said, "Oh, you merged, you know, too late or something, and it was, you were supposed to turn, you know, left and not go straight." Well, that's a lie, because actually if the line is broken, you can still merge. But the problem is it's my word against him. And he knew within about 30 seconds of talking to me that he wasn't going to win. Actually, what he did too, which was absolutely criminal, he said, "Let me look at your license to check your license." And he grabbed it and snatched it like that. He snatched it and he said, "You're not getting this back." Right? And what he meant by that is, "You're not getting this back unless you give me money." And I won't give money. I won't do this. But my friend's wife, who's in her 60s, felt very, very threatened and actually gave her 2,000 peso, which is huge money. It is mega money. It's way too much. And I'm telling you, here in Subic Bay, you will never ever have that problem. You won't have that problem. I've never had a police officer harass me. I've never had PMP or MMDA. Actually, quite the opposite. The police here are very friendly. I get along with the police here. I've worked with them. And look, I think they've been great. And unfortunately, there have been stories, like there was this story of this, you know, I think it was a PMP officer out in Tarlac. And if you've seen the video, and you'll know what I'm talking about, it was absolutely gruesome. And it was a kid who was, you know, young teenager, young guy, and his grandmother, and he was letting up fireworks or being noisy, and this guy, this police officer, didn't like it. And someone in the family was actually filming in the background, and he just had enough, and he went pop, 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 and killed the kid and the grandma. And I seen that video. It's absolutely gruesome. So I think it's since been removed from Facebook, or it had some, you know, you shouldn't watch this or something. And I couldn't find the video after watching it for the first day. But what I will say about this is corruption, unfortunately, is still rife, and it's actually become worse during the pandemic. Out here in Subic, we're in our own little bubble, and it's been great. It's been fine. Apart from being stuck in the house, it has been, you know, pretty good. But what I've heard in Metro Manila, not so good. So yeah, a few little rants, you know, telling you what's going on. I'm gonna switch over from rant mode and talk about some positive things, because it's not all doom and gloom. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So actually, I wasn't going to talk about that, but I felt I had to. And honestly, I just wanted to get out of, Manila straight away as soon as possible. But anyway, what I want to talk about was, making the most of this pandemic. And actually, there are a lot of opportunities. And I did, when I was down there, I looked at a few condominiums in Metro Manila. And now, I'll be honest, to rent your condo out in Metro Manila, like, I have scores of friends who are having serious difficulty renting their condos because, some of the condos are more like high end, and those condos used to rent to foreigners for very good money, right? And you might have got $2,000 or $3,000 US per month for some of these condos, especially if the condo is located in BGC, Makati, a very good location, central in the metro. But now it's very hard to rent. So I actually did a video the other day for a friend, Brian. It was a very good price. He usually rents, I think, that condo for 60,000 peso plus costs. Now, when you add internet, you add dues and all this, it actually costs a tenant normally 70,000. But at the moment, I think he's only charging 40,000. So I did a video for him to actually, show him, show people, this is a really good opportunity. It's a beautiful loft, 40,000 a month. So it's not all doom and gloom. That's a bit of an opportunity. You can find some really cheap rentals if you are over here at the moment. Yes, mate, I do have my beer. I got a Chang beer. How cool is that? Awesome. Got a few Changs. I'm gonna have a few beers. Oh wow. Oh, Dwayne. Oh mate, you champion. What a champion, eh? Dwayne, how you going, buddy? Dwayne Woolley. Mate, I sent you a message earlier tonight. Cool, mate, cool. So Dwayne says, here's $10 for your next Earth 2 investment. And actually, I wasn't going to talk about Earth 2, but now I feel that I have to. And I'm going to announce something because actually I've been building a city with a friend. It could be Dwayne. Okay. And building a city in a country. I hadn't told anyone what that country is, but because you're watching this live stream, I'm going to tell you what the country is. It is Isle of Man. So we're building a city there. Okay. And, that's been pretty cool. I've really been working hard in my day job and also spending a lot of time on Earth 2. And some people have been really negative about it, but my experience thus far has been awesome. And I've actually had one person that I know from one of these Earth 2 groups that cashed out 110,000 US dollars in less than 2 months. Less than 2 months. I got another friend who actually, he spent $10,000. He just cashed out $10,000 and another $2,000. So he's up 2,000 cash out, and he still has roughly around about $22,000 or $23,000 worth of tiles left. So he's free rolling right now. Okay, so he's free rolling. So that's Clint. Clint has his own channel. He's focusing on just Earth 2. But don't want to focus too much about that. Let's get back on point. If you're interested in Earth 2 or you want to know more about it, go and have a look. Have a look at, some of my Earth 2 videos. But, I am dropping that hint because, we hadn't really announced it yet. Isle of Man is where you want to buy tiles at the moment. That's an opportunity because we are building a city there, a mega city, and that's going to be pretty sweet. Oh, I think the neighbors arguing. I hope you guys can't hear that. That's pretty funny. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Oh, I might have to ask them to close the door. Okay, so we're talking about opportunity. And I was talking about, look, it's not all doom and gloom. Actually, there is a lot of opportunity. I was looking at condominiums. Yes, Nirvana is the mega city. That's the mega city. How did you know the name was Nirvana? How did you know that? Because I only told like 2 people. That's in Isle of Man. But anyway, back on point, back on topic. Oh my God, I lost my place. Condos in Manila. So I looked at a few condos in Manila, and there are some really good opportunities in Manila. Not that I would live there. And yes, like I said, it's very hard to rent your condo at the moment in Metro Manila. Yes, it is. But what's going to happen when things finally reopen? And unfortunately, I think Philippines will be one of the last places to reopen. But when they finally do reopen, the people that are positioned well, right now is an opportunity because you can buy condos cheap. And when foreigners come back in, rentals will shoot back up. It'll be easy to rent your condo again and you'll make very good money. Now, I seen, get this, a 2-bedroom condominium, okay, in Pasay, and that was near, very close to the casino, the new Manila Bay District, Mall of Asia, the MOA. They've got the new expressway linking up from the SLEX to the NLEX, which is the SLEX NLEX connector, and that's a bit of an opportunity. And literally, I seen a 2-bedroom condominium, and it was about 60 square meters, and I could have bought this for 5 million peso, and it had a view overlooking the golf course. And literally, you go down in the elevator, there's like an arcade of restaurants, there's a 5-star hotel next door where you can get a buffet meal, there's a church. It's a really nice little area that I was looking. Personally, I won't be buying that. I was looking actually for a friend who was interested in that condo, so I was helping him buy that condo. I was very interested in it, but I've actually decided to take the punt and buy land and construct. And I did talk about that recently on the channel in one of my latest videos this week. So it's exciting. It's very exciting. So let me talk about that. So here it is. Okay, I bought land in Zambales, in San Antonio. And San Antonio, I think, is a beautiful place. And it's away from the pandemic. It's away from all this crazy stuff. And prices are still really cheap. Actually, I've seen some blocks as cheap as like 600, 700,000, peso. And it's titled. Okay, now only small lots at that size. But I did see, actually, a few new little developments popping up there, and actually even a new bar opened up there very recently. So it's really cool, and things are still happening in San Antonio. I like it. I think it's great. And actually, I'm so excited because, for me, my dream, and if you've watched the channel in the past, my dream has always been to buy land and build a beach house here in the Philippines. Because, like in Australia, if you want to live on the beachfront and own a beachfront house, the minimum price you're looking at is like $10 million. That's what it costs, and that's like the starter beachfront home in Australia. Whereas here you can still find land as cheap as like, 30, 40,000 US dollars and, build your dream house. It is possible. It is risky. It is hard to find beachfront land nowadays because, the biggest thing, actually 2 things that you have to be wary about when buying beachfront land is, one, there is a rule. I think it's 30 meters. There's a 30-meter rule where your house must be 30 meters away from the waterfront. And now this affected a lot of people in Boracay, on Boracay Island, because what actually happened is, people were building too close to the water and they had their house demolished. They had their house knocked down. Okay, so really bad, really bad. So that sucked. Or could be a business, could be a hotel. Maybe the front of their hotel got cut down. So when you're buying on the beachfront, you need to find like a beach that's pretty long. So your house is built, at least I would say at very least 50 plus meters away from the water at high tide. Okay, so luckily mine is probably about 80 or 90 meters, which is great because it's a nice long beach. So it's really, really great. I was very happy about that. It's a very good thing. The second thing is you have to be, what's that? Oh, maybe in Deception Bay. Don't know about that. If you're talking about, major cities like Sydney or Queensland, like Mermaid Beach or Miami or something, even on the Gold Coast, houses are like 10 million just to be on 400 square meters on the beach, mate. So yeah, don't know about that. But yeah, maybe further up north. But even when I was looking in Sunshine Coast, and Noosa area, I think that was still, you know, $2 or $3 million for a house. But my point is, like, you know, here in the Philippines, you have to be really careful because some property is titled and some is untitled. In other words, it's a tax declaration. So a tax declaration can be very unsafe. And actually, I had a friend who unfortunately got, you know, in a bit of strife for buying and building on a tax declaration property. So, not so good, not so good, right? So, personally, I would not buy tax declaration. You know, you need to buy titled land. That is my personal opinion. Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep drinking. All right. So we got some questions here. I'm going to slow down. So Yanni said Nirvana. I don't even know how, unless I dropped it in a previous video. Maybe I dropped a hint about Nirvana. And yes, Nirvana is on Isle of Man. So Thomas says, and this is what I was saying, he's saying, are you kidding? It's only a couple $100,000 for a beach house in Deception Bay. Deception Bay? I'm not sure where Deception Bay is, to be honest, in Queensland. But I highly doubt it's only a couple $100,000, mate, for a beachfront house in Queensland. Like I was saying on the Gold Coast, yeah, mate, you're looking at like minimum 5 or 6 million. That was like 4 or 5 years ago to be, you know, on the beachfront on the Gold Coast. And Gold Coast is only a small city, mate. If you want a waterfront home in Sydney or, you know, Melbourne, it's tens of millions of dollars. So it's big money. And I'm talking like, you know, where I bought is about 2 hours drive from, you know, the capital city in the Philippines, which is Manila, because they have this new highway. And I bought for around about, I'm not going to say exactly how much, but it was a good price. And look, you can buy land around Zambales area for around about, say cheapest would be about $50,000. So $50,000, which I think is extremely cheap for beachfront land. It's extremely cheap. So Dab says, Deception Bay is literally Ipswich near salt water. All right, mate, let's drop that subject. It's been a while since I've been living in Australia, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on Australian properties because I haven't lived there in a long time. I mainly focus on Asian property. But anyway, moving along. Let's talk about the land and what's been going on. Now, I've got a video coming soon. And I'm going to I'll upload it. You know what? I have done it and I will upload it later tonight, maybe the next couple of hours. And the video is me at the land and us starting construction this week. So before I talk about the construction and how that's actually going, I want to talk about the process and what it took to actually get the land and actually get the approval. So it was not so easy. Definitely not so easy, and we still got a long way to go, but we got the building approval. How good is that? So approved, we got the sign that says, you know, this is the development, this is the number, rah, rah, rah. So really excited, and we're building 2 duplex villas, so nice, good sized villas. And actually on the beachfront there, and yeah, I was so stoked to get that approval because, you know, we needed it relatively quickly. I had heard stories in the Philippines of some approvals taking a long time. It could take months and months and months. Actually, the process was pretty good. It only took about maybe 2.5, 3 weeks to get approved for the building approval. The cost, what it cost me for the plans, for me and my mate, and you know, for the whole duplex for both 2 houses, I think we spent close to 90,000 peso for the plans, you know, signed, sealed, delivered, and then the actual cost to go and get the approval from the barangay and, you know, the building department was around about 42,000 peso. So the process all up, and there was a few extra bits and pieces, probably all up was close to about 150,000 peso before we even started building. So that gives you some idea. Luckily for me, we get to split that cost because there's 2 duplexes. So if you were building one property, you know, it would probably cost you anywhere from maybe 120 to 150, 160, depending on the size and the cost of the actual property itself. And what you pay with the building department will be determined based on, in the architectural plans, there's like a quote that pretty much says, what it should cost to build that property. And that's based on what it will be worth, once it's built, and the actual, cost to build it itself. So there's a few things. You had to get a barangay permit. So for me, I'm in I'm on the border of San Antonio and San Miguel. San Miguel, how cool is that? So actually, our barangay is San Miguel, which is pretty cool. I like that name, San Miguel. Actually, I'm drinking Chang right now, but I'm going to probably have a few San Miguels later. So I like the fact that my barangay is named after a beer that I like to drink. How cool is that? All right, talking about beer, I need another one. Here we go. These Changs are great. They cost me 900 peso for a carton of 24. So what's that? What's about maybe 40 peso a beer for an imported Chang? And I got this from S&R in Angeles City in Pampanga. So yeah, pretty good actually. But yeah, I used to be able to get good beers and cheap beer in Subic. No more. Gone are those days, unfortunately. So Angeles is probably the closest place to get good imported beers. But anyway, talking about the plans and everything, that's what it costs. There was a few things we had to do. We're still waiting on the electricity, so I've got to follow that up, and that's my fault. I've got to follow that up early next week, right? So yeah, definitely have to, follow that up because we need power to the block. Thus far, what we've been doing on the construction this week is digging trenches and making cages for the footings. So we've got these big footings because actually we want high ceilings, and we've got these huge, high ceilings. I think from the plans to the trusses, it was about 3.5 meters. Okay, or was it 3 meters to the trusses? I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it's really exciting. I'm very excited to be building. And yeah, I'm going to be doing videos like maybe one a week, just on an update, when I go out there as to how that build is going. Chang. Yeah, I think it's 3 meters to the roof line or something, and then 3.5 meters. Hold on one sec. All right, so I'm going to answer a few questions here. Let me go to the top. Randall says, "Where is my beer, mate? Don't worry about that. I've got my beer. Enjoying my Chang beer, Chang." I really like these Changs, actually. Really nice. Eric says, "Yo." Hey, dude. What's up, bro? Mallow says, "LA Cafe is open." Are you there now, mate? Cool. Live More Life says, "Have you been to Davao?" Actually, I have never, ever been to Davao. I've been meaning to go, but unfortunately, I was going to go, last year, 2020, and, I didn't get to go. I was supposed to, actually, I was working with a developer, and I was going to go down to Davao to film one of their new developments early 2020, but unfortunately, I was not able to do that because of this pandemic. You just can't travel, so it really sucks. So we have another question. Someone's got a question. Yanni says, "Peter, can I disturb you with an Earth 1 question? Do you think Cayman Islands will be a good investment?" Sorry, Earth 2. Yes, I like Cayman Islands, and I did buy tiles on the Cayman Islands. I did like Cayman Islands. There's 3 places I've been buying for 3 continents. The first, my number 1, is Asia, because that's where I'm based and where I've been buying. So different Asian countries. The second is the Caribbean and the West Indies. And all of these places are still affordable, right? So in the Caribbean and Asia. And actually part of that was the Cayman Islands. So I bought in Cayman Islands, Bahamas, etc. The other thing too is, the third one has been, I did buy a bit, but not much in Europe, because Europe's been expensive, but I bought some good ones early in Switzerland, because I like Switzerland mountains and this sort of thing. That was good. Personally, I think Cayman Islands is definitely a good little place to buy, and I think it will go up long term. And I like that whole region in the West Indies. So actually, there's a few places: Antigua and Barbuda. You've got Jamaica. You've got all sorts of places in the West Indies. What else have you got? You got, I think there's another one called St. Kitts. St. Kitts is also really a good place, and I think tiles are still around 40 cents. Cayman Islands is good, but I think the price from memory is already around or close to $1 from memory. I could be wrong. It's I've looked at a few countries on Earth too. Hold on, I've got another question here. So Dav says, Peter, I'm interested in getting property in the Philippines. My partner's from Quezon City, but I'd rather be in a regional city town on Luzon Island or Mindoro. Okay, do you have any suggestions or no good properties? Okay, well, if you want to be on Luzon Island, personally, I would give Mindoro a miss because it is an island, right? And you have to travel by boat. I think, look, Luzon, absolutely, central Luzon is a great opportunity. I think the opportunity now is not Metro Manila, is not central Luzon or NCR. It is central Luzon, but not NCR, because NCR is just so expensive nowadays. And even you can get a discount. I think the trend is now, I was saying this to a friend, previously, right, in the BPO industry, and BPO is important because a lot of people, millions of people in Manila, actually middle class, call center workers, make good coin. Some Filipinos, even Filipinos can make 30, 40,000 peso a month, which is actually good coin for the Philippines. It's actually good because some people in the provinces are only making 10,000 peso a month. I think the average wage around these parts is 10,000. Whereas Manila, if you're a good call center agent, you could have a base of 30 or 40,000 peso a month, right? And that's for someone senior that's been working in the industry a long time, plus bonuses if you're a salesperson. So that's an opportunity for Filipinos. But the Filipinos are moving out of Metro Manila because that old traditional thinking of you have to have an office and those people working in Metro Manila, that's gone, right? That's actually going out the window for two reasons. One, the pandemic. The pandemic is crazy, and people want to get out of Metro Manila, and they're asking their bosses, can I work from home? And people would rather be in a smaller tier 2 city than tier 1 Cebu or Metro Manila, where things are more affordable and lifestyle's more affordable. Housing costs could be like 1/5 or 1/10. And I can tell you now, quite literally, like a house the same size in Subic Bay versus Metro Manila, okay, is like, it's just unbelievable. Like Metro Manila, like some houses cost as much as hundreds of millions of peso, so millions of dollars. Whereas, here in Subic Bay, you can buy, houses for probably, a starter home now, if you're in the Freeport now, is probably about, 8 to 10 million peso. Outside the Freeport, but close by to the Freeport, starter home could start from, if you only want something small, 3 or 4 million peso. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Pampanga's a good example. Around the south, you've got, I'm thinking Laguna. Laguna is also good. Personally, I like north from Pampanga, San Fernando, Angeles City. Then you've got Subic, Bataan, and the Zambales region. That's where I would buy if you're asking my opinion. Porto Galera, if you're a retiree and want to live on the beach, then yes, maybe. But me personally, looking at investment-wise, being able to rent, capital growth, all of this, I personally would not buy there. But that's just me, right? So personally, I think, from Pampanga north. Now, Laguna's good too if you prefer the south. And I did look at Laguna because Arianne is from Cavite. But I decided against that because I just prefer the north. I think the north's a lovely area. And, we've got wide open spaces. It's a beautiful place. Personally, I'm moving further north. You know, the further north, the better, in my opinion. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a change. It's going to be a bit of a shock because there's no Jollibee in town. There's no McDonald's. There's no big supermarket. There's none of that. But I do have the beach, and I have, you know, all the beauty, the natural beauty around me, you know, so that's going to be exciting. It's going to be a different lifestyle. So instead of going to the supermarket, I will be forced to go to the local market and stuff like that, which is fine. And I'm fine with that because it's actually more affordable. There are some good restaurants there. And what I will say is CMC Grill, Car Wash, Monty's. You've got S&S, Sun and Surf. So you've got a few good places as well as Paraíso, right? So there's 4 places that are still open. Now I want to mention something because my mate in Pundakit, actually, I went to his house and I'm going to do another video this weekend. I filmed there, and what he did is he built on his land because he bought acres out there because it's still affordable and you can have a big land. You can buy, you know, an acre, 2 acres, still really, really cheap, and have a ranch style house, right? A big house and big lands, which is great. Someone asked about the internet. Actually, you know what? This is the other reason I hate Manila. I went to Manila, stayed in the condo, internet wouldn't work. It was shit house. It sucked. Actually, the internet out here is far, far faster and better. We have fiber internet. It is very speedy. It is really, really good in actual fact. So yeah, so we have several providers out here now. Converge, PLDT. I think there's another one called Hilltop. There's a Cat V company, and we're getting, I've heard, due to this Tesla thing, you know, Elon Musk, there's going to be this Skylink. So it's going to be like satellites, and you can link up to a satellite and get like, you know, 200 meg up and down. So people in the provinces are really going to benefit. So what I'm trying to say is that the growth is actually going to be outside Metro Manila. I think, you know, Metro Manila is gone. Where the growth, where the capital growth, the gains are, is in the dirt, in the land. Because ultimately, I'll be honest, a building, you know, is going to depreciate over time, but land is going to increase in value. So this is why if you are a foreigner and you are buying a condo, you're better off buying a condo in a smaller building, not a bigger building, right? Because long term, I'm talking like 10, 20 years, that should appreciate more than a building that has hundreds and hundreds of units, okay? Unless there's something very special about it, like it could be just an amazing location overlooking the ocean or something special, right? So personally, I think the value is in the land. The other thing about the Freeport, Clark Freeport and Subic Freeport is the fact that, you know, foreigners can get leasehold. Now, leasehold has actually been appreciated, but it won't appreciate the same as fee simple, you know, fee simple freehold land. And only Filipinos can buy that, okay? So you need to have a Filipino wife, you need to have a child or something, or a family member that you trust to buy in their name. Okay, so that's a roll of the dice, man. That's risky. You know, I've been with Arianne a long time, so I'm not really worried, right? So I'm cool, man. I feel safe. I can sleep at night. But if you've just met a girl, you know, you're in your 50s or 60s, and you met this young, pretty girl, especially you met her in the bar, and you want to buy her a house in week 1, or, you know, even in the first year of knowing her and getting hitched, then I would say, mate, tap on the brakes there, slow down. You need to know someone for a long time, you know, 5 or 10 years before you can go out and buy land in their name and trust them with hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $50,000. It's money, man. And unfortunately, I have had friends who have lost their shirt. You know, they've lost their house, they've lost their savings because they chose the wrong girl. And yeah, and I'm not going to say his name, but yes, I have a friend who's going through a legal dispute with his ex-wife. They were, you know, separated, but not technically divorced, and that's caused all sorts of problems for him. And I really, really feel for that person. I'm not going to say his name, and I pray for him. And reminds me, I've been very busy. I've got to go and see him. Got to go and see him. I hope he's okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to read some questions. Oh, Mary. Hello, Mary. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Very kind of you. So Mary says, do you know any good properties for expat retirees near the airport in Manila that is secure near amenities like grocery, medical, church for my mum? Have a beer on me. I will do that. Thank you so much, Mary. That's kind. That is very, very kind. Actually, I do, right? At the start of this vlog, I was saying I just helped a friend buy, and I'll tell you where it was. It was in Newport City. In Newport City, now in Newport, right, you've got the Marriott next door, you've got the casino, you've got the malls, you have a church, all in the vicinity of like only 1 kilometer. So there is a lot there. And at the moment, why I'm focusing on that is because Manila Bay is a great area. It's a great location. You've got Terminal 3, and there's actually a footbridge to the airport. So, if you want to, fly and travel, it's a great place to travel. Also, that place has been affected because a lot of people like that have been in the airline industry. People in the airline industry probably have been hit, are the most affected when it comes to the pandemic. So there's a lot of condos available in Newport City. I saw a 2-bedroom condo that before the pandemic, they were asking 10 million peso. 10 million peso. And I just helped my friend buy it for 5. For 5 in that area, that same area. So that's where I would personally, what I like, it's a good little area. Also, what's happened is that they've got outside of the mall a lot of arcades, like, strip malls. There's about 4 of them actually now outside of the big mall, which is the Resorts World Mall, okay, in Newport City. And there's different restaurants like Chinese food, you've got Korean food, you've got Filipino food, you've got Starbucks, you've got the 7-Eleven, you've got all kinds of different things there. And this is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, absolutely. You've also got like Pizza Hut. I think they've got a yellow cab, all different kinds of things there, as well as the Marriott does a buffet. I think for seniors, they do a special discount, and it's up to 50% off. And the buffet is unreal. And I did that buffet, and actually I got a video of doing that over a year ago with my old man, with my dad. And it was the Marriott buffet there in Newport City is probably in my top 5 restaurants and buffets in the world. It was amazing. And I'm telling you, with the 50% discount, I think it only worked out to be about, with tax, 1,300 peso. So it was kind of like less than $30 US. And we had Wagyu beef, we had sashimi, everything. It was awesome. Also, behind that area is a golf course. If, maybe she likes to play golf. I know Arianne does. Arianne likes to play golf, and yeah, she's a golfer. I still need to learn. I went to the range a couple of times. La Pedrera, I think, is in Pampanga. My shoulder's pretty bad. Like, I've had a problem with my shoulder a long time, so that caused me some grief just at the driving range. But I do definitely want to learn how to play golf. I've just been so flat out with the construction and everything that I haven't been back there in a little while. I've got to get back there. Anyway, last questions. So Thomas says 10,000 US dollars per year. Not sure. I don't know what Sandra's saying. I'm going to hide that comment. That sounds rude. Okay. Jenny says, we have changed back to Thailand rather than the Philippines. Better prices now, and will bubble with Australia later in October this year. So Jenny, actually that is really interesting, and I got to be honest, I'm a big fan of Thailand. And before the pandemic, I had a flight to Thailand, but I cancelled it because I didn't want to be away from my son. But I will say that food in the Philippines, unfortunately, because we are, an island country, food and, goods could be building materials. It could be, you want some Western products are a lot more expensive in the Philippines, a lot more. That's because it has to be shipped here. Plus, importation tax for certain goods, overseas goods, importation tax for cars, imported cars, is over 100%. So, for example, I was devastated because I like Vegemite, right? And this is just one example. Vegemite in Australia, you can buy a jar for $2. $2, okay? Now, I went to a store recently, they wanted $10 because, and I understand why they wanted $10. I'm not going to pay $10. I'm just not going to do it. No, right? It's a lot of cheddar. But my point is, the importation tax would cost like crazy money. Like maybe they buy it for $2, it costs $1 to ship, and then they pay another $3 for the importation tax. So it's cost that person $6 to get the Vegemite here, and they have to sell it at $10 to make a $4 profit. It's like that, right? So it is crazy. Arianne says, do you want more beer? Actually, I've been too busy talking. I need to slow down and have more beer. All right. Let's have a look here. Dab. Jenny from Gladstone. I'm near Gladstone. Thomas says Jenny and Dab, a love story in the making. Look, I'm good, I think. I've been too busy talking, so, I'm good. I'm just going to answer Mary's comment here. Mary says, thank you, sounds good. Was there with the whole family early 2020 before the pandemic hit. We are planning on going back this year, but pandemic, yeah, I know. We miss the Philippines. Say hi to baby Pete and Arianne. Well, Arianne is in the chat. Her channel is Casa James, so you might have seen her commenting there, right? So, hi Arianne. Mary says hello. How you going? Anyway, I'm going to wrap up because, yeah, I want to enjoy my Friday night. I want to enjoy the beer. Oh, need another sip. I'm getting a bit parched, sore throat. So Live More Life says, when am I going to Pattaya? Mate, I wish I was in Pattaya. I wish I was in Thailand. I really do. But like I said, it's kind of like your attitude will determine your altitude and where you get in life. And I've been trying to just be positive and make the most of this pandemic and a bad situation that is going on in the Philippines. So, that's why I decided to double down and buy land and construct my dream house. So I'm sure, it'll all go well and it'll be a bit of a process. It is very exciting that I'm building, my dream house here in the Philippines, and I'm excited about that. But I really miss Thailand, to be honest. I miss the food the most, I think. I really enjoy the food and the different options there. Like, what I will say about this is, yes, you can get good Thai food, but in Thailand as well, you get so many international options. It could be, German restaurant, an English pub with English breakfast, etc. Jeff says, okay, I'm going to stop there. I want to answer Jeff. Jeff says prices on food in Makati are up at least 30%. Thank you, Jeff. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Prices on food and groceries in the Philippines. And it's not just Manila, it's Subic too. I'm very disappointed. Up. Now, like I said earlier in this vlog, I saw like this post, and this post had this thing where it was like talking about what the SRP, the retail price, should be for certain goods. And I'm sorry, but the government can say, oh, look, pork can cost 200 peso, per kilo. It doesn't. You're probably going to pay 400 or 500. If you're in Manila, you might even pay more. Okay? You got to think of the pandemic, the issues they've had with workers, logistics, all of this. Pandemic has made things worse. Businesses have shut down. Things have cost more. Actually, most people, including myself, what I've been doing recently, and this is kind of boring, but I've not really been going out to the bars in the last few months. Okay, I've really just been focusing up on work and, the land and construction and what we're doing on that, and, getting the plans approved and building a house. So most of my time is at home. And just talking about at home, Ruby, it's Ruby. Hey, Ruby, shout out to Ruby. Shout out, Ruby. How you doing, darling? Shout out to you, darling. Um, so what I was trying to say is I'm making the most of a bad situation here in the Philippines, definitely. So Henry says, I'm not enjoying a beer, but having a cup of coffee. Henry, is it early morning where you are, mate? Must be. But yeah, talking about home life, I'm really enjoying being a dad. Now, sometimes it does get a bit much and the baby's screaming, and I'm like, oh, I just want to rest. But I'm lucky to have my Mrs. Arianne and Ruby, who have been a big support because while I've been working very hard and very long hours, they've been helping a lot with the baby and things. And sometimes I do get frustrated, but it's all worth it. And what I can say is I never really planned to have kids. I wasn't really, oh, I really want to have kids. I was kind of more into the bachelor life when I was younger, but I can recommend it for anyone. If you're in your 20s and you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to have kids, I just want to enjoy my life. Well, it's a different thing. Like being a dad is cool and it's fun. And, you get to have a dad bod. You get to drink more beer. All right. So, no, but seriously, seeing Pete growing up is so cool. And the other day I was trying to get him to talk because and it's so exciting when he started walking. But I was saying, say dada, right? Right. I want him to say dad first, and he almost had it. He's like ada. I'm like, oh, he's so close to saying it. Soon he's going to be talking. Oh, the other thing too, the scary thing about being a parent is, oh god, like dude, my son, he goes after the expensive things. He'll look at my phone and try and grab my phone and run off the phone and drop it. He goes for the TV remote. It's like, oh man, no, don't grab that. You could break it. He'll grab the laptop. And I'm like, oh no, don't drop that. Right? It's like that. And then the other thing is power sockets. Like he'll run for the power sockets or the power boards or something like that. I'm like, oh no, no, no. And like, because he started walking at 9 months and now he's just running. Run. And it's scary, man. It's like, oh no, power sockets. So, one of us at all times need to really be watching him because he can climb, he can run. It's scary. The other day, he almost climbed a fence, right, and could have fallen over and hurt himself. A horrible thing happened. A horrible thing happened. Actually, Pete got the measles. It was awful. It was awful. He got the measles from Manila. He went to Manila with his mum because, they were going down there visiting family. And he got the measles. And, it was horrible. He had a fever. I was so scared. And the worst thing is, like, I could be sick. I could hurt myself. And I'm like, I'm not worried. It's just me. But when you have a child and your child is sick or hurt or injured, that is the worst. It is just, it's painful. I'm like, what do I do? Because at first he had a fever. He got to 40 degrees. And I'm like, oh, God, please don't have the COVID, please. Because, in Manila especially, like a lot of people are getting it. And actually, I was talking with a work colleague just today, and he was saying his grandmother has it and they're really scared because, his grandmother might die from it, and he had to go and visit her in the hospital because, she's on a deathbed with with this pandemic thing, this COVID-19. It's crazy, man. Yes, Arian is Casa James. Arian's channel is Casa James. So if you want to check Arian's channel and what we do, on a daily basis, family life in the Philippines, check out Arian's channel. Yeah. Oh, all right. So we're coming up on 1 hour. Oh, g'day, Bangkok Diaries. Bangkok Diaries. Oh, cool, mate. Yeah, cool. Watching from Bangkok. Wish I was there, mate. I am drinking a Thai beer because I am missing Thailand. I'm missing Thailand indeed. Anyway, I'm going to go because out here I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes. You're lucky you got an hour from me because, mate, like honestly, I think I've had like 50 or 60 mosquitoes bite me. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say goodnight. Thanks to everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry it's been so long since I did a live stream. I don't do them often. I'll try and do them more often when I can. Oh, hold on, wait, Arianne, you got to turn down the sound on your phone, honey.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
Nothing.
What? What are you doing? She's so strange. She just run out here and then run off. But I didn't want the echo of the sound of the live stream. What are you doing, honey? What are you doing? Why'd you run off like that?
I feel like a kid.
You are a kid.
I just want to say goodbye.
All right, goodbye. So Arianne, check out her channel, Casa James, if you haven't already. It is a good channel. She's trying hard to do vlogs. Finally, it only took her 5 or 6 years of me hounding her. And look, it's Ruby. It's Ruby and Baby Pete. Hello. Come into the light. Come on, Baby Pete.
Hello.
All right, goodbye. Isn't he cute? How big is he getting? He's huge. It'll be interesting, actually, when he grows up. I hope he looks back at these videos and says, oh, that's me, Daddy. Oh, did you see that smile? Oh, it was gold, eh? Oh, hey, son.
No more beer.
What do you mean?
Come on, let's go.
He's so
Bye.
cute. He's
Bye.
so lovely. Bye-bye. Double thumbs up. Cheers. Thanks for everyone for watching. Really appreciate it.